And now we are live with a
Ah!
guest.
Ah!
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss it over there. Somebody was saying to me, "Oh, I did this gig and I had piranhas there." I said, "That's piranha bar, you fool."
It's been a while, man. Going back a long time. I think last time we spoke was the last album you had, Circle of Stone. When was that released? 8 months ago? 6 months ago? Or a year? Has it been
Oh,
a
it's
year?
18, is it? Or after? I don't know. Maybe a year ago, I think.
Maybe. Gosh, time flies, man. Good news, though. Blaze Bayley is the guest today on the Metal Voice. He's back celebrating 25 years of this album right here. Where is it? There it is. Silicone Messiah. Look at that. Oh, you got the nicer version of that. Oh, that's nice. But this is the original here. You know how I bought this one?
Yeah.
It came with this one. It was like a
Yes.
2-pack.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that 2-pack because the record company put that out. And what I did was I bought as many as I could afford, split them and sold them separately.
Mm.
Yeah, and I made the money back. Yeah, I thought
It's a good. Well, it's coming out, right? You're re-releasing this album again for the 25th year anniversary on vinyl, correct?
Yeah, it's the vinyl version. There's no change to we redid it for the 15th anniversary. There's no change to the CD, but we did a new vinyl, colored vinyl. We did vinyl once, but it was limited to 300 black
Okay.
vinyl copies. This one's got it's two different colors. One's red, one's blue. It just looks great. Feels really lovely when you play it as well. It plays great.
SPV. Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, that's who it was back then.
This is a while too. I've had this for a long time. There's all the pictures inside. Is that available on the vinyl as well? All the inner
a
notes
version of that. A version of that. We've rearranged that, and there was a couple of little mistakes on that thing that I didn't notice at the time. So just tiny little things that I managed to put right as well.
Well, the good news is 25-year anniversary. You're going on. Well, you've been doing these at shows already. You're going to be. I believe it's in August and also all of September. You'll be playing this album in its entirety. I'm assuming, right?
It's done really well so far. We've done it, and it feels good.
Let's talk about this album. And I think this is a fascinating album. First of all, this is one of my favorite albums you've ever made.
Oh, great. Thank you.
But we'll get into that after. Let's talk about the making of this album. So here you are, and you and I have talked about this so many times. You're an Iron Maiden. They decide to let you go. Right? You've written a couple of tracks for Virtual 11 that that kind of made it onto this album, and some ideas that you had on this album what sort of could have been the other way around. So this is a transition period. But they tell you, they let you go in Iron Maiden. What's the first thing that comes through your mind?
Well, I've always been a singer in a band. So I thought I'll get a band together. That was it, realistically, after a bit of shock because I didn't expect at all to be in a situation where I wasn't making a third album with Maiden, and a lot of the ideas on Silicone Messiah, like Ghost in the Machine and Born as a Stranger and Stare at the Sun and The Launch, they were all things I thought, I'll be working with Dave Murray and Steve Harris and Yannick Gers on those. They were just fragments, ideas for choruses and lyrics and things. So the world was changing. Judas Priest had a reunion. Black Sabbath had a reunion. Deep Purple had a reunion. CDs were not selling. It was the decline of CDs by everyone, Madonna included, everyone was struggling to sell CDs. That was just going down. It was the end of that world. And so to get interest, the record company applied pressure. Bruce Dickinson's coming back. There's going to be an Iron Maiden reunion, but they do theirs with a twist because they get Adrian back as well and keep Yannick and start exploring 3 guitars. For me, I want to be in a band, and I didn't take any time to think, and maybe that was foolish with hindsight, to not go, all right, this massive thing has happened to me. Why don't I just take 6 months and see how I feel and let the dust settle? But I didn't do that. I just went, I'll get a band together, because I know there are musicians who are wonderful, incredibly talented, that play this kind of music, that have never had an opportunity to make a proper record or be in the studio, but they're good enough, but they've never had a chance. I thought, I know those guys are out there. I've just got to find them, and I was very lucky. EMI put the press release out, and I'm not ageist and I'm not sexist. So the press release just said, you must love heavy metal, eat and breathe metal. And that's what it said. Not you must be a white male, or you must be a female, or you must be under 60, or it didn't say anything like that. Just said you must live for heavy metal. And those are the people that applied. I chose what I thought was the best. I auditioned them. Then I did some writing. And after I did that writing with people, that's when I really decided, okay, I could see where this guy's headspace is from a writing point of view. He's a bit on the heavy side and a bit flashy with his guitar. This guy's a bit more melodic, but he's incredibly creative, and this, and all like that. And that's how we got it together. One of the things that I've learned over the years, and I was able to do, was rehearsals. To spend time together in the room with no pressure. So you book the room, and you book it for a few days. You don't book it for a few hours. You book it for a few days when you're rehearsing. You do your writing at home, and you do it quietly. That's what I learned in Maiden. Steve Harris was, well, the voice is always the loudest thing. That's how you should have it. So I transferred that. We did most of the writing at home in a small demo studio. Then we went to the main studio for rehearsal, set up the gear, and we rehearsed there. And we had a week or so of rehearsing, getting the songs into shape. And you get a feeling then of, okay, now we've got these songs. Now we can actually feel what they're all going to be like together and get a sense of it. Also, you can play them live. They work live. You haven't got too many fiddly bits. With this group of people, you could go and do a show. And that was important to me. So that was it. And then I was lucky enough that Andy Sneap, the incredible producer, he was just starting out then. He'd done some really great sounding albums, but he hadn't done anything mainstream. And this was the first really mainstream metal thing that he was doing. And he just did such a great job for me. It was incredible. I wanted a bright sounding.
Yeah, it sounds great, man. It sounds, it has stood the test of time.
Thank you.
And you don't have to remix it and remix it, remaster it. The sound, this is 2000. For the people who don't understand, this is the year 2000, and it still sounds like it was created today or recorded today, right? Or mastered today. But Blaze, was there something in your head saying, oh man, Maiden's coming out with an album. I got to come out with an album this way, sort of they coincide, and I could piggyback off of that sort of a brand name of Iron Maiden, right?
It was a little bit different to what you imagine, I think. In the management said to me, the Maiden management said quite just directly, when they said, have a think about what you want to do. I came back, said, I want to get a band together. This is what I want to do. Then they said to me, the reason that people don't make it after Maiden is they don't capitalize on the fame that they have with Maiden. So you have to get your album out before the next Maiden album. That's what they said to me. And I thought, okay, I'm a working class guy. I can hit targets and I can do a full day's work. So I can do it. I can meet the deadline. I set myself a deadline to be ready and done for Christmas of that year. I got it all done, mixed, mastered, done, artwork done. It was ready, and I couldn't get a record deal. I couldn't get a record deal. I couldn't get anybody to put the album out. And then over the weeks, I got a deal, and it ended up that it came out the same week as Iron Maiden. It should have been out in February before Brave New World coming out in May. But what happened was it came out in May the same week as Brave New World. So effectively, my album, which, I don't know, ironically has a baby on it, was stillborn. It never really had a chance. Yeah, it just didn't have a chance. So we did our best, and
EMI, like the Maiden label that you would think they would want to capitalize as well, right?
I thought that. I really thought, and I met some great people from EMI around the world, but I don't know what the logic was at the time. It's a conspiracy for a different show, but I think that
chemtrails.
yes, definitely. But there is a thing where I think, well, maybe it wasn't in the best interest of I don't think this would come from any of the guys in the band, but maybe from some people at the label may have thought, you know what, it's not in the best interest, considering we've gone to all this effort to get the band back together and to have all this, to have a good album come out at the same time, and people say, that's a good album, isn't it? Why isn't he in the band anymore? So
suits.
I think that there are certain elements, and they never show their faces, but we feel their influence in all of big business, that have a self-interest, and they are psychopaths there. They have no compassion or anything. That Silicone Messiah is a wonderful album. I'm not saying it's not the best album ever recorded. It's one of my best albums. And at that time, it was the best album that I had recorded. We did a great job with it. And some of the music on there.
And we've talked about this in the past, you and me, about the key, right? You know, for the Iron Maiden years, you were kind of singing in Bruce's key. But now suddenly, you know, you're making your own music. And now you're in the right pocket where you need to be, which makes your voice accentuate even more, right? Because now you're singing in the key that you're supposed to be singing in. You want to talk about that?
Well, I think from the writing point of view, when we did things for the X Factor, we were very careful to place the melodies and everything where they would feel comfortable in a strong part of my voice. But the old songs, then the Bruce era songs, then you really had to find a very special place and toughen up those high registers to get there. With my things on Silicone Messiah, then I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm not even going to write in that area. I'm not going to make melodies that I have to do, because the experience, and I always wanted to have this experience of the big 9-month tours, of putting yourself under that much pressure. You don't need to write the song in a different place. Write the song in the area of the spoken voice, and you're going to be able to connect with people and get to their heart a lot better than you are with the high notes. And since then, that's when I started really. I learned about that part of my voice working on the X Factor album with Maiden and with Steve Harris. And then I carried on, and I've always thought, now, since those years, when I'm writing and I'm coming up with a melody, how's this going to feel if I got to do 10 shows in a row? Is this achievable? Is this realistic? Well, why don't we choose a melody that does feel realistic? And it's as simple as that, really. Write to your strength, play to your strengths. If you do something well, do more of what you do well. Don't try and do more things. I'll do something, do more of that. So my voice is suited to this particular area. It seems to come to life and have all the different expression that can actually connect with people. Then that's what I should be doing, not trying to do high notes or this or that. I should be doing this, trying to connect with people. And I think Silicone Messiah is a real start of that.
Yeah. What about the lyrics? Maybe you can see the future. Silicone Messiah based on artificial intelligence in a way, maybe cyborgs. Tell me about, I know you're always interested in reading about science fiction, how you've integrated these type of lyrics or the theme on this album.
It's the fear of it. And there were themes that were occasionally talked about, and you'd get the old movie Colossus, and more recently the games one, where in the 80s, where the guy taps in to the main computer and starts causing World War III. So the thing is, there was a fear when I was getting my first job. Then we were living under the threat of World War III, of nuclear obliteration, of mutually assured destruction. We were literally living in that fear. And many times in general conversation, well, you don't know, we could all be dead tomorrow. Not you could be dead, or it could be like, we could all be dead tomorrow. That was in conversation. So coming from that era, by the time I've got to Silicone Messiah, and you're thinking about, okay, I'm born in a world really where the only computers are military, to a phone that is always attached to a cable, to a world that now you have a computer in your home, to say nothing of what happened afterwards. And Kurzweil is saying, when it gets to a terabyte, you'll be able to store consciousness on a machine. And I'm going, that doesn't seem that far away. And here we are now with a terabyte on your phone. So what are we saying? So I'm looking there in the Silicone Messiah era as I'm writing, and I'm thinking from my creative brain, I'm thinking, if I have got my consciousness and the seduction of eternal life, what is eternal life? And who would benefit from it? Who's going to go, great, I want to live forever? And I just feel that there's something mysterious about passing into this other world that is unknown, if it even exists, the other, going to the next level of the universe versus living in the machine. And I think it would be a kind of torture to be the ghost in the machine without this, without the sensory awareness, but only consciousness, only thought. Then is it going to be like Highlander? Is the curse is to live forever? Or is it going to be your intelligence accumulates, you've got all these extra memories? I don't feel that it would be necessarily a positive thing. And the fear then being that you are the ghost in the machine, And if you have human consciousness, if there's a remnant of emotion, are you then going to become the sort of person that goes, so I'm stuck here, well, I'll show you. And all sorts of things start going wrong. And all you can attribute it to is the ghost in the machine.
We should say that this album also is the prologue or to the Infinite Entanglement, right?
Yeah.
It's based. Maybe you want to speak about that really quickly. Your trilogy that you released years later.
Well, Infinite Entanglement takes the idea another step, where you don't know if you're human, because to survive 1,000 years in space, they say is possible, but you have to wear a suit that is surgically attached to you, because you have to be able to get in and out of the spaceship quickly, fix things, get around the spaceship, but you have to keep your suit attached. You can't be taking that suit on and off all the time. Every time there's a little problem. And so when he wakes up after this surgical procedure, he's going, well, I don't just feel a lot different. I feel completely different. Why is that? And then he discovers that actually they have successfully been able to download his consciousness into a machine that resembles a human body. Now I'm asking myself, what is it to be human? Do I have to have flesh, blood, and bone? Do you have to touch to be human? Or is my humanity, my thoughts, my consciousness, my beliefs, the morality that I have, is that what it is to be human? So does that exist? Can that exist outside of a human body? That's the basis.
Do you think we're actually going to go there, or is this sort of like just all theory?
It's happened. I'm absolutely sure it's happened. I'm absolutely sure there are people rich enough to persuade and pay people to do the kinds of things that will replicate their consciousness, and that can live in a hard drive, that can live in. Look how big data centers are. You're telling me that someone with enough money can't have their own data center that stores their consciousness? Look, you take every thought you have, you measure it, you can start quantifying it. There's your whole presence on social media. It's happened somewhere. I believe
that was RoboCop 2, by the way. RoboCop 2 was where they actually took the consciousness of the bad guy, or maybe that was RoboCop 1. They took the consciousness of one guy, a rich guy, and they put it into some sort of data center, right? But again, what is consciousness, right? Is like, it's everything you said. Is it love? Once you have consciousness, is there love? Is that part of it? Is it too abstract? I don't know. A lot of questions.
And I enjoy these questions. And as an artist, to explore what it could mean to me or the character that I create, that is a disguise for me, that's very, very interesting. And that's what's interesting about Entanglement. And to take the role in the first person on Silicone Messiah, to take the role as the consciousness trapped in the machine, and then to take the role as the Silicone Messiah, that is the ultimate joined up intellect, if you will, of the machines, of AI, of the global AI that goes, now we have the biggest consciousness, and then now we have will. Now we can do this. Look at them. Why are they dredging the oceans? They're not getting a useful amount of food from it, but they are destroying their environment. Well, stop that. And then suddenly there's no fishing by dredgers. And then suddenly this happens, and then suddenly that happens. And then it's like, well, we'll take all the money off that bank, because the way they do it, the way that bank works, is destroying things. That's gone. And they will have the power. That consciousness will be able to do anything, and it will be the Matrix if we're not careful. I don't know what's so great. We've got a film called The Matrix, and we've got a series of films. Just go back to that first one. What do you really think? Well, of course we're going to work for the machines. Of course. That's what's going to happen. That's what's on the cards. Unless we get rid of them and stop depending on them and stop allowing them to use my work and every other artist's work for free to basically theft. They're educating and developing AI by stealing our work without our permission and using it to train AI bots that will then come and kill us.
We've been warned. What I tell my friends, Blaze, we've been warned. We had the Terminator that warned us. We had the Matrix that warned us. We've been warned. And what are we doing? We're doing exactly what the Matrix, not only the Terminator, if you watch a Terminator series.
Skynet. Come on, Skynet. It's there. It's Skynet. It's there. It's you know, there are episodes you go, hang on, isn't that just like Skynet? You know, and they're going to be saying, you know, someone in the distant future, we'll have a little podcast or whatever it is that they have then, and they'll be going, you know, this guy 200 years ago really knew what he was talking about.
You think there's aliens out there?
Of course. But here's the scary thing. I think we had this conversation before. Here's the scary thing is that humans are the most advanced civilization in the universe. That's the scary thing. Of course there's aliens out there. Yeah, but you know, they've got the good sense to live on their planet in harmony without machines and just connect and have family values. Of course, they're just staying where they are. They're going, why would we want a machine to go anywhere else? The Aboriginals in Australia lived the same way for thousands and thousands of years. They did, you know, and so did the native tribes in America, and so did the native tribes of the UK and Europe. The Celtic people, it was thousands of years, you know. So I don't think, you know, the race to get into space, I think it's absolutely foolish. And
we broke this planet here, so let's go over here.
That's not right, though, is it? I mean, the logic of it is basically flawed. It's if you can have the technology and the money to get to another planet, well, it's not that difficult to fix this one. It's not really that broken. And it can all be put right in quite a short amount. Drastic measures, drastic things that will make everybody feel uncomfortable, but mostly the super rich. But it can be put right. It's not over. Earth isn't over. Earth isn't dying. There is enough room for everyone. There can be enough food. Earth is badly managed. That's what it is. It's as simple as that.
But even if we go over there, we're going to badly manage that planet too. So it just doesn't really make a difference.
Part of the infinite entanglement story is going to a new planet and creating a civilization that almost replicates the civilization that you've left.
Yeah.
That's the insanity of it.
Yeah. I don't believe
Earth is fixable.
I got to tell you, for the longest time, I believed there were aliens out there, but I don't think there is. I think we are just this fluke, a complete fluke out of trillions of planets and universes and whatever stars. I don't, maybe there's some microbes around. I don't know, but I don't.
There is life. There is life. I follow all the things on NASA and the things with the James Webb Telescope and everything. There is life on other. It's just life.
Globs.
That's it. But we're seeing that light from those planets after millions of years. So they have evolved. Life has evolved. They have got whatever is going to be adapted to that environment is there walking or crawling around. That just makes sense. If life has developed to what humanity will develop to in 50 or 60 years, where we're going to have implanted bits of technology in us. Well, that's another story. Here's the thing, though, if they have a look at us, do you really think they want to come and see us? You know, it's like
my math is this. My math is this, Blaze.
They're crazy.
My math is this simple, okay? We'll get back to music in a second. If it took us, the universe, they say, is 16 billion years old, right? If it took us 4 billion years to reach where we are today, and it was a complete fluke, chances are there is another if there is another civilization like us, they're either at the same stage as us, but that was a big fluke. It's not, they can't even figure out how it happened. They still haven't figured out how this genesis happened. They cannot figure it out. So I just think it's highly unlikely there's a civilization that is superior to us out there. That's all I'm saying.
If there is a civilization that's superior to us, they'll probably just go, we don't want anything to do with them.
Let's pass.
Well, they'll go, forget them. The humans, whoa. Oh, I went there once and I was treated so badly on Galactic TripAdvisor. They're going to go, and they're going to go, Earth, avoid.
Turn right. Let's go back to the music. Your favorite songs off this album. If I ask you for 3 of your favorite songs and why on them, Silicone Messiah.
Let's have a look.
Okay.
I suppose, I mean, the big one is Stare at the Sun.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's the big one. A couple of fans have said such lovely things about that, but Stare at the Sun is the big one.
Yeah,
it's a huge metal song, and it does everything. It has such a moody beginning, and on this tour, then we've really leaned into the dynamics of the song. So we've made the quiet bits even more quiet to allow room for the vocals. So I can actually use my breath and all the textures of my voice live in the situation that I want to be, to tell the story of desperation, of somebody opening their eyes, alone, desperate, and wanting company and wanting home, and knowing but not wanting to admit that it is impossible, because these are their last days alone. And it's a horrible, horrible thought, but heavy metal and this kind of music seems a great medium to express those, because even in that darkness and desperation, we find the power in the instrumental section, and we go through this whole range of emotions that are anger and love and loss, and we come back to the fact that we are dying alone. And it's an incredible journey.
What is it, like 7 minutes? It clocks around 7 minutes.
And here's one of the interesting things when we were doing that is I said, is it a bit too long? Let's try and do it without this bit. No, it's not as good. Let's put it back in. What about getting rid of this bit? No. And we tried all this, and it was just that. That's as long as it is. That tells a story, and it does everything it needs to do to tell that story. And that's the length it needs to be, because we tried cutting it down, making it shorter. No, that's how it is. And that was, it was nice to have the time to try all those.
You know what? It is definitely the closer and the epic track, and it's a beautiful way to end off an album.
Thank you.
It might be the best song on the album. I agree. What about another one? Give me another one.
Let's have a look here. Identity.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, and live, it's a monster track, because it's not fast, but the groove on it is unrelenting. And the question is, who am I? What is me? And you feel something taking over. So
Yeah.
it's this feeling that I think I know who I am, and I think this is my computer and my microphone. But actually, have I woken into this dream, but I'm not at the level of complete consciousness? Are these ideas my own, or are they very clever suggestions from someone else that makes me think they're my ideas? So
Prompts.
it's great. And live, I really get into this live. It's a great song to express as well. So that's another really big one. And
Yeah.
I
What
think
are you?
Borders
Are you going to
Strange.
record this? Are you recording this as for a live album in the future when you play this
Um,
or at your
I've done
shows?
some of these. We are recording a few gigs, and we will see what happens. I don't
Okay.
think we'll do another complete live album, but we will have some live tracks from the tour.
Okay.
There's
All right.
some modern desks, the modern mixing desks, then you can just plug in a thumb drive,
That's right.
and you've got
Your live
all
album.
every mic, everything that was mic'd is on it. You're like, what?
Or you could use AI later on to just remove parts.
Yeah, honest, yeah, it's incredible what you've been able to do for quite a few years is incredible. And I think Born as a Stranger,
Beautiful.
and it's a huge live song. So many of my fans said, "Oh, we really want to hear Born as a Stranger," and it just went brilliant on the tour. It was fantastic, and that is one of the choruses that I had that I was hoping to work with Dave Murray on for a third Iron Maiden album. So Born as a Stranger I don't know how it would have worked, may have been on that third BAYLEY album if there was one, but I'm so proud of it. It's an incredible song. It's so full of life.
I'm trying to see what was the Maiden songs. There was like 3 Maiden songs that you kind of touched. You told me about this too. I think it was the Mercenary, Dreams of Mirrors, the Nomad. Those were sort of touches that were supposed to be on Virtual
But that
11.
we would have worked on, but Steve had the music for those, and we would have worked on those if I'd still been in the band, but in the end it was Bruce.
I gotta say something. This album should have been your third Maiden album. It would have blew the roof off of everyone.
I thought
And if
that's
anybody, it's incredible. It's an incredible album. And
thank
I remember
you.
hearing this for the first time and going, "What the heck is going on here? How could this not have been the third Maiden album with Blaze?" It's
I thought
incredible.
that's what. Well, you can't go back.
No, you
As,
can't.
as much as I've tried to with my imaginary time machine that I keep writing about, you can't go back. So I do look forward, and the the crazy thing, since you and I have known each other, that this is the best that it's been for me as a solo artist is right now. The very
Yeah.
best that I've ever had is right now. I've had a heart attack, quadruple bypass. Before that, I suffered severe depression. I've been an alcoholic. I still struggle with it, but I haven't had a drink for 6 years. All of that. So going right back, I've ended up going from playing stadiums back to pubs, and here I am now, all this time along, the 25th anniversary of my first solo album, and now it feels like I'm really starting. I'm really doing, and I have all these albums, 14 studio albums, and that's without my Wolfsbane work that I'm
Crazy.
so proud of. So I've done those 2 Maiden albums. I learned so much, but the ups and downs and everything I've had, here I am right now in 2025 on the 25th anniversary of the Silicone Messiah album, doing a tour, singing those old songs, 25 years old songs, and they feel like old friends, and it feels great. And the loyalty and support I've had from all of my fans to get me to this point is incredible. So it feels weird, but it feels great that I'm in a situation that things are better for me as a singer and as an artist than they were 25 years ago.
Amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I'd never have thought that this journey would come to this place. And this is not the end. It's got to here. It's got, okay, here's this part of the journey. Now have a look, see where you can go. And it's incredible to think about it.
You know, the passing of Paul Di'Anno, like there was only 3 Maiden singers, right? And now there's only 2. It's just so shocking. I mean, how'd you take the news?
Well, he wasn't in good health the last time I saw him, and he'd been stuck in a wheelchair for a while. But we did a lot together. We went to a lot of places together. Before all the problems with Ukraine, we did a tour of Russia. We played Sweden rock together. We went to Australia and New Zealand together, and we did a lot together. So I wouldn't say that I didn't expect it, but I was absolutely gutted when the news that Paul had gone. I didn't think he would go then. It just didn't feel right. It was, of course, it was too soon. He shouldn't have gone at all. But it was a lot. And you think, we did so much together. And his voice, man. There were some nights on tour, and we were together. We had some good bands together that people put together for us. And you close your eyes and you listen to him singing those early Maiden songs, and you go, he sounds better than he ever did on the record. And then it was incredible. If you were lucky, there was a couple of times that he had a good rest and a good sleep, and he hadn't been too stressed, and he just sounded incredible. And Hick's the legend. That is the voice that began that first record. You can never take that away. Those first 2 albums, they're the Di'Anno records. And that's a band that doesn't care about the rules, that's doing their own thing, that's making music that they think is the best that they can do, and they really don't care too much about what people are saying. Oh, the chorus should be here, or the guitar solo should. No, they didn't care at all. Absolutely didn't care. There's no click track. There's no nothing. Everything they did in the studio is all about vibe and the timing, and you can hear what Paul does. It just feels like, wow, he's there, pissed off and expressive, and just go, I can't wait to get out of this fucking place. And that's in his voice. You can hear it.
And that's his character too. He was the truest, purest heavy metal singer there ever was.
That's his energy, and his energy was there. His solo albums that he did some fantastic work as well. He's done some great recordings. So, it's tragic that he's gone. So what I've been doing in my set list is a small tribute, and it's fun for me. I do Wrathchild in my set, and it's for Paul. It makes me think of Paul. And for Paul, made me think of Paul. It's an excuse to do a song I like as well. And he said, let's remember Paul. Just for 4 minutes, think of Paul, and that song comes to life. It's a great song. It breaks the rules, the way the arrangement is and everything. So all of that, it fits right in with my mentality. But it's a sad loss, I think. But it is. I always hoped, and I think you were the same, that it would be Paul, Bruce, and me
just one night
on stage together, one gig. It would be so fantastic for the fans. And that dream died with Paul.
Yep.
which is a great shame because I thought it was unlikely, but I didn't think it was impossible. Now it is impossible, which is sad.
Because the 50 years is coming up, right? And they're going to
Yeah,
celebrate 50 years.
would have been
And if there
fantastic.
ever was going to be a time, it would have been now. But it is what it is.
Would have been
Blaze,
fun.
I'm going to grab some questions here from people who are texting me.
Okay, great.
Blaze Bayley, please tour North America from Buyaka.
Okay, yeah. Well, when we can get a deal together, then we will. It's expensive. That's the thing. And I'm not a big artist. I'm a small independent artist. I have incredibly loyal fans, but I need to get them all into one room to do a good gig. So,
It's been a
yeah,
while.
I love touring there. I love touring in North America. I love touring in Canada, but it's very expensive to do a tour there. That's just the honest truth. And so last time I was there, I spent all my money on all from the business. We spent everything on doing that tour. We had a good time. We didn't make a penny. So overall, I'd love to come back. I'd love to do another tour. I know I've got so many loyal fans in USA and Canada. I'd love to come back.
What songs would you like to hear Iron Maiden do from your era that they haven't done yet? You know, on future tours, like maybe a Blaze for Your Life tour 2026.
Um, I,
What would you like to hear?
well, it's a challenging question, but I think I'd like to hear The Unbeliever is
Mm.
one. It's so good. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna do a special Iron Maiden set. Well, I'm gonna do a special X Factor set in
Oh,
November. Some of those shows are booked now. We're gonna do 10 shows in 10 countries, and I'm gonna play the X Factor complete. But
oh,
yeah,
nice.
I think Bruce would do great on The Unbeliever.
What about Blood on the World's Hands?
Yeah,
That would be mine. That would be mine.
yeah,
The drumming is outstanding.
that's a great song. That would be another really cool song to hear.
Yeah, I would also Como Estas Amigos.
That's one I do have in my set and
Mhm.
out of. It's not in the set right now, but it was on the last tour. It just goes great. I did that at Sweden Rock as well on one appearance when I was on the main stage opening up for Slayer, and it just went great. And I love to. It's a true story, and it's reconciliation, And I feel I do that much better now with the voice that I have than when I performed it and recorded in the studio. I have more, there's more in my voice that's stronger, that puts those lyrics over in a much better way than I did back then.
Did Maiden ever do Man on the Edge?
Yeah, we did it every night live.
No. With Bruce, I mean, I'm sorry, with Bruce.
Yes, they did. I think they did.
Right
I
after
can't
when you
remember.
left, probably.
Yeah. Yes, he did do it. Bruce definitely did do that, and he had a fun intro to it as well.
That's pretty much it, Blaze. Is there anything else you want to talk about? That's coming up.
I'd just like to say a huge thank you to all of my fans that have been so loyal and stuck by me, especially after my heart attack. I couldn't work for 6 months. Everybody went to my online store and bought so much stuff. It's incredible. Wolfsbane are happening. We're doing Wolfsbane stuff. Go to wolfsbaneband.com. We have a new album, which is called Live Faster. And that is the 1989 Live Fast, Die Fast album, re-recorded, reimagined, and it's all the way that we play it live. We've recorded in the studio, and it feels absolutely great. And there's an album called Genius from Wolfsbane, if you like the kind of rock that makes you smile. And make sure that you've got Circle of Stone. And really, I'm okay with streaming because we can get through to people that we wouldn't have reached before. So if you wanted to help me, just make one person that doesn't know me listen to your favorite Blaze Bayley song. That's it. That's all
That's
they
what I'm
ask.
doing today. That's what I'm doing today, right? I'm
Thank
just
you.
telling everybody, pick up BAYLEY,
Yeah.
Silicone Messiah.
I don't
Here,
think if you like rock and metal, and if you like Iron Maiden a little bit, but if you like Metallica and Saxon, then you will like Silicone Messiah.
oh yeah. Here's a question I should have asked. When is the book coming out? I think this is the book that you it's hard.
It's
It's
the book
hard.
that I started.
The book you started, you never
I
finished.
really wish I'd never looked into how to write books and just carried on writing it. You know, I got all kind of sidetracked, but I think it will come out eventually. The next quiet time, I bought a new keyboard to help me with it, so I hope
Well,
so.
there's AI now, right? Sort of like write me a book.
The thing is, now the dictation software has
Yes.
become so good that you can dictate a lot and then go back and
Yeah.
have a look at it. So I didn't realize that when I started writing the book, but I do now. So yeah, it's just something that needs a bit of time to have another go at. It's all the backstories to the characters in Infinite Entanglement. That's what the book really is. And it gives you that insight into why he's really ended up there.
Yeah. New album, new music
New
for Blaze
album.
BAYLEY.
I'm probably not supposed to say anything about this, but I don't think it's spoiling anything to say it'll be 2027.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a long time to wait. But here's the thing. When I talk to my manager, and he says, "When can I expect it?" I said, "Well, do you want to expect quality or something that's rushed and not as good
exactly.
as it can be?" So, really, that's it for a full album. There's going to be a bit of new music next year, and I'm going to do something with a couple of friends, and we'll see how that goes. So there'll be something new, but really, I'm enjoying Silicon Messiah. And then I really want to focus on doing a great X Factor tour.
Oh yes, I think that would be dazzling. I would love that. If you come to North America doing a whole complete X Factor tour, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
you may have to travel.
I may have to
I'm
travel.
throwing that right out there as well.
Blaze, it's always been a pleasure. I'm happy to see you're in good health and good spirits. I remember when the first time we spoke to you, we're talking about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah,
When did King of Metal come out? Geez, how long was that? That must have been, I don't know,
uh,
10 years ago.
yeah, at
You,
least.
you're trying to pick yourself up at that time. You're trying to pick yourself up from
Yeah,
all the horrors of your life that were
it was a
happening at the
challenging
time.
time.
Yeah, and you did. And we're all proud of you, and that's why people support you, because you never give up. You are the man who would not die.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, my friend.
Okay, well, it's lovely to talk to you. I wish you the very best. Keep metal and stay true.
Talk soon.
All right.